In short order, I'm back. Okay, I got something to put on again. Okay, I'm gonna jump in the car because I'm gonna put on another short shifter. I can hear y'all. But yo, CarQuicks, dog. I mean, for real, like, how many times are you gonna do this? Well, as many times I feel like, honestly. I mean, really, if you really want to talk about it, as many times as I want. I have a Billetworkz Short Shifter. Like I said in my unboxing, I reached out to them. I said, yo, that looks fire. That looks dope. Let me throw it on. But I'm going to speak about what I'm going to do that's a little bit different than most people. And not that I'm doing something that is necessarily brand new. There are people that are on the Facebook groups that have already put this part on. But like I said, you're here to hear it from me. It's my journey and you're here to join. So if you're here and you've never joined the squadron, like, subscribe, do all those things, and tap in. Tap in. So, Billetworkz Short Shifter is gonna go in this car. And a fly or a flying ant just flew on me. I don't know where them things came from, but if it's somewhere around here, I'm gonna eradicate them. Now, let me show you. I'm gonna zoom down. Don't mind if it's dirty, dusty, you know, listen, it's a daily. This all this jazz got to come out. All of this got to come out. This is going to come out. I don't know if I have to do everything that I saw on the Billetworkz instructions on their video, but I'll try to do this in the most efficient manner that I feel works best for what I'm going to do. But we're going to take all this jazz off. But what I was speaking about as far as my setup and what I'm going to do differently is, I'm gonna try to one-hand this a little bit because I really don't feel like putting a hood prop up. You all know that I have the, you can see it down there, engine's hot. You can see I have the short shifter from RacerX. Now, there are some people who have put on this Billetworkz short shifter with the RacerX shifter or any other short shifter, Forge Motorsports, and some have said it's too stiff, it can't engage correctly, and they reverted back to just one short shifter. Then there are some people that put both on and said this joint feels amazing. So I want to put both on, okay? I want to feel what it feels like when I have both on because I'm just trying to make this as short and stiff and direct as possible. And I feel like it'll be fine. And if it's not fine, this video is going to take a turn and I'm going to tell you it's not. So I'm going to set y'all up. We're going to take off the center console and we're just going to get this cracking. It should not be that long, okay? Hopefully. I better not fall into any issues, but we're going. Peace. Let's get down to business. All right. So we are going to take this off. As you can see, probably the first order of business is to we just got to get this whole console out. So there's like little screws, places to take off that I'm going to do that I remember about because I'm going to take off these gloves for now because nothing's really greasy. But I remember how to take all this off. So I'm going to time lapse this, okay? We're not going to do a normal one. We're going to time lapse it. I know you saw on Billetworkz that they kind of took away a lot, right? They took away this whole piece here. They lifted this whole thing out. I do not think that is necessary. I think you can do this without taking this part off because what they're trying to get to is that there's like these little bushings down here. I had changed mine to 2J Racing a long time ago. And so that's what's on mine. That's why it keeps this from being very stiff so that it doesn't move around when I'm shifting. So they have their own that are like spacers, but I believe I can get those in there without having to remove this entire console piece. It's not that hard though, so I'm not gonna act like it's not a big deal if you need to remove it. Though, if you look at places like this that have these plastic straps that hold down these wiring harness. You're gonna have to break that. And some people probably aren't gonna want to do that. They're probably gonna want to keep it as it is and just let it remain the same. So we're gonna move along. I'm gonna get this piece out. All this has to come out. There's like little parts and components of that. And I might time lapse it. I might just do it normally so you can kind of see the more intricate part. This part right here, if you've done anything on the car center console wise, you should have been done this a bunch of times. Easy, the clips come out, and that's it. All right, we'll be back. Okay, so continuing where we left off. I dropped this little ring under the seat, so I had to go and get it. I know I didn't explain. Like if you have a stock GR Corolla, the shift knob spins off. You're gonna most likely see this little spring with this little washer that's holding it down. Just be careful when you take this stuff off because it kind of flies out. So it's not, none of this stuff is like unknown. A lot of you see a little O-ring here. This stuff is pretty straightforward. I mean, you just reinstall it the way you took it off, right? It's not, you don't have to be some heavy mechanically inclined individual. This stuff is easy to figure out, easy to do. So we have to take this assembly off. Now, one of the things you need to do is they said is you need to take off this little retaining clip here. Now they use the hammer to like pry it off. I'm gonna see if I can just do it. Let me see if I can just get behind it somehow. You may not be able to. It's like a retaining clip. I might need the little hammer. So keep that in mind. Have these tools around. Or if not, you know, go get them when you need them. I'm sure my neighbors are like, what the heck is he doing to his car now? All right, so you can see, you do this a couple, once you tap on it for a while, this little ring will make its way on off. That's what you gotta take off, this little ring. Now I'm sure you're like, yo, that joint is mangled that you just did. Hey, listen. Okay, now next, after you get this that ring off, there is something. I wish I would show y'all this, but here's what I'll do. I'm gonna take a picture of it, and somewhere in the video, you'll see a still shot of what I'm talking about. Because this down here is what you want to pry apart to release the shifter. It's like two little prongs that come to the side, and then this whole entire thing just kind of drops down, and it allows the shifter up top to come off. So it's really not that difficult to do this. It's just more so getting your hand in there and see. Okay, once you get that part off and make sure that this whole thing is loose, then I'm just gonna grab that hammer again. We're gonna kind of tap out. That's cool, I can do it that way. All right, I'm gonna tap out this pin. All right, once this whole entire pin comes out, voila. Put that over into my trisney so don't lose anything. Then I believe this whole assembly comes out like this. Gonna put this over here like that. And then now you have the whole assembly, as you can see right here. So what is next? So once you have that whole piece off, you can take this shifter off. I want to point something out. My setup, you're gonna see your setup is probably gonna have like a white plastic clip pin here that is the reverse lockout like clip. Because I had switched mine to this We Are Likewise setup, I already had taken mine off from a previous setup I've done. So when you do yours, you're gonna see it in here. So just keep that in mind when you're doing this, okay? You might see something different because CarQuicks is doing something different. All right, so next we're gonna take this whole thing out. You gotta kind of probably, we gotta pry up or pry down on one of these things. It's like, actually I think you can probably slide this whole thing out. Yeah, you can slide it out. There you go. And then this whole thing is out. Now, obviously, this stuff has like a bunch of, you know, grease on it, as you can see in there. That's all for a reason. So we're going to take this, we're going to go over, because we got to transfer some stuff from here to the new short shifter from Billetworkz. So we're going to change positions, and we're going to go over there and check that out. Okay, so we're kind of on the floor over here in the garage because I'm throwing the stuff that I need to transfer over to this short shifter. I told you, we're not going to spend too much time. This is going to be quick and easy. See, here's the Billetworkz short shifter that you saw in the video on the unboxing, and all those glory. So you see it next to that. So you can kind of notice how the drop point is a little bit lower. I guess you can kind of see it from this angle a little bit better too. Not, I mean, it's not like an extreme amount, but you can kind of see it. Maybe can't see from that angle, but that's not what I'm really here for to begin with. I'm here because I need to take off this piece off of this original shifter. So I'm just going to use this little wrench real quick. Actually, I'm about to get it down to the right size, and I can just do it easily. There you go. Pop that out. This goes, I'm actually going to get some, I'm going to get a little bit of impact grease to put on there because why not? Even though I really don't want to use my hand. What's this? It's a wipe over here. I'm going to use that. But I'm going to put some inside of here. Let's put a little bit more. That way, we have, you know, this is one of those things where like over time, the grease and part of this can start to like come off, and then all of a sudden people are like, why does my thing feel like it's binding? Well, most of the time it's probably because grease or everything that was under there left the building. So we did that. Take this kind of, okay, snapped in. This is all together now. As you can see, little ball point right there. That's all you got to do. Put that in, put my impact grease back. If you don't have any of this, I guess you can use whatever was on the original one. There's a bunch of grease on there as well too. So I'm going to put more of that probably on when I get inside the car because that's going to help. So, all right, that's the only thing you got to actually, hold on. Nope, I lied. You got to do something else too. So it mentions that we have to take off this whole assembly to allow this thing to kind of go inside of the car. So I need to find out what size this is. This is the right one for the top. You can take this off. Put that there. Oh, there's one on the other side too. We're going to take this off. All right. Took that part off. Then this should slide up, they said. Actually, hold on. I got to take that off. I put that on earlier when I was testing out the shift knob on the unboxing. So this got to come off. This slides up. That's there. Then we do need to still take off this part right here. But I got to find the right size for this because it ain't any of these. All right, I found something I can use to get off that bolt they say you need to get off, which is, like I said, this guy right here. This is probably something that a few people might have spoken about when installing this, because that's a weird size. Like, if you look at this, that's like a certain Allen. That's not a normal Allen key size, because I have all of them and none of them work. And I'm kind of using something that's a little. If you don't have something extra laying around, you may be a little stuck at this point. So, Billetworkz, if you want to know whatever Allen key size that is, you either should. Hold on, let me make sure they didn't supply it. I said, I'm like, you should supply that. They're like, yo, dog, look in the bag. I'm like, oh, let me make sure. I don't see it. So I'm just saying, maybe you can help people out by having that included. So anybody that's installing the short shifter, this key here, maybe it's just pre-production stuff, or maybe it's the first batch of stuff, but that should be changed. So Billetworkz, keep in mind that this point here, I had to use a very weird piece, star thing, to get this out. And most people look at this and think it's just an Allen key, which is what it definitely is, but it ain't the normal size. So there's also like a snap ring on here that you have to take off. This whole thing has to come off so that you can put this inside of the car and get everything on. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just taking off this snap ring. Snap ring off. This comes off. Spring comes out. This whole piece comes out. So you are left with just this to put in the car. So we're going to jump to the car, and all these pieces I took off, we're going to put on in the car. All right, so listen, CarQuicks again. All right, I'll be back. All right, we're back in the car now. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and reassemble this bad boy. Shouldn't even be that difficult. Actually, no, we're not reassembling nothing yet. We got a couple of the things we need to do first. One of the other final things that we're going to need to do is we're going to need to get under here to replace those bushing spacers I talked to you about earlier. So let me show you what I'm talking about, because maybe you don't know, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So on this car, because of the short shifter situation, we need to put these in. These are like spacers. I'm sure y'all can kind of see what I'm talking about. Spacers go right here under this base. I had to get an extension to take these bolts off down here. Now, like I said, I have the 2J Racing ones on here. I haven't taken these off since I put this thing on so early in the game, and I haven't taken these off since. See, that's out the way, and you can kind of, well, can't lift anything up just yet. Let me take out the other ones too. That's out. Fish out this other one. See? 2J Racing. These have been on the car early on video. I'm going to put it somewhere in the link below in the screen showing you about when I put these on. So these are coming off. They're still good. I just don't need them right now for this application anymore. So I'm going to take off the next one. I don't know what I'm going to do with these, but they're still in good condition. You got to kind of unclip the harness from the cradle, because it sits so tight in there. You're going to need to like at least get some maneuverability to allow yourself to get underneath to grab. Oh shoot. Also be careful. Well, you won't have these. If you have the OEM one is going to be just the rubber bushings that are like kind of sandwiched in there. I had these on there because these are aluminum pieces that help keep this very stiff, no movement. And the ones from Billetworkz, also aluminum, also going to keep everything very stiff and in place. So let me get off the last few pieces over here. All the mileage. I've had these on the car for probably like 20 Over 20,000 miles I've had these on the car. Perform flawlessly. Never an issue. So hopefully Billetworkz keeps up my level of flawless operation. So these go under these bases right here that we were just talking about. Let me fit this one under here. And there we go. Put the other one in. At least theirs, I do appreciate their snapping into place. When I first did those 2J Racing ones, I had to get a little have some ingenuity and place some impact grease on. That's why you see it's kind of red to hold it into place, because outside of that, those are not holding in place. They were just, dang, spoke too soon. See what I'm talking about? There we go. Now we're back in place. Make sure the harness is clear. Now, these bolts are probably longer than the OEM ones, which is why we are going to use them. And as you notice right here, that's the difference. OEM one is right here. This is the one supplied by Billetworkz. So you want to use the Billetworkz ones because these were basically spacers. So they increase the distance between where you were at before. And if you're not going to use these, you're not going to get enough connection or bite onto where you need to be. And that's not what we're trying to do here. Now, don't over tighten this. I mean, you're tightening this into plastic, so you really do not need to go crazy. Just make it tight. I don't really know a way to gauge it for you. Just don't go crazy. We're gonna get this into place along with getting the inside of that cradle I showed you earlier. Here we go. That snapped into place. Now next, we need to put that spring back on, which was this guy. There we go. That's what it was like. That goes under. That one goes on top of it. This went like so. All right. We are making progress. Next, we're getting this cradle back on. The one we took off earlier. We're gonna slide in there, just like so. Before I do that, I am, like I said, gonna put just a little. Just a tad bit of grease up and around here. Now we're gonna get back to building this back out. I'm gonna put this main piece back on. We're gonna take the pin that we had earlier that we took out. If you remember this pin, this goes this direction inside of here. You're probably gonna have to, gonna need a little hammer to tap this bad boy back in. Snap ring to put on there, which is this right here. So the best way to do this, from what I've seen, is to kind of get like put it on like this, and then get like a socket like that has a large enough opening to go over the bolt like this, and you just want to hammer that on, and it'll snap itself on. But hold on, before I do that, let me just double check everything, because once you do that, it's over. It's done. Snapped on. So on real quick just to test what this feels like, because I don't want to use my hand. Okay. How to check this out? I was checking something out. So I did a test. I put everything on. These are the shifts. I mean, these are, you want to talk about short? That is, oh my goodness. Look, just Just, I mean, come on. This is lovely. Okay, so we're gonna put everything back together. I'm gonna take off this other shift knob I had on here just to test out what it felt like, because I have a certain shift knob for this situation here. So we're gonna piece everything back together. And remember I told you about we gotta put one of these pins back on. If it gets too dark, and how dark is it? Let me see the light. Okay, this is all together. This is done. So now we're gonna rebuild the reverse lockout. Reverse the lockout on there. We're gonna also put this spring. We're gonna get this. Remember the washer? Probably remember all the stuff I took off. So the washer that goes on there, and then there is a snap ring. Snap ring might be a little, like I said, I don't have a snap ring tool, so it might be a little difficult if you're also like me to kind of get this back on. We're gonna do it. So we just want to get it down to that point. Then we can get it all the way down to this little groove. There you go. See? Now, once you get this, we kind of lift this up. Once we get that all in, I'm going to clean this up too. Once we lift that up, we're going to kind of get this bolt through. And it doesn't have to be super tight, as they said. When I put this on, I just did that hand tight. I'll make it a little bit tighter right now, just for my own peace of mind. So we're going to just tighten it up a little. Like I said, this is probably the one part of the install that I think will pose a problem for some people, because like I said, that wasn't the normal size of it. You see? Looking good. And this one, actually, this had the right size Allen keys on there. So I gotta go grab some real quick. Wherever it's. Let's see, where are we at? There we go. All right. That's that side. I'm gonna grab the Allen key I had on the other side, or underneath it. It does not. So weird issue. And I can see that being a problem for people. So we're gonna screw this on. Like I said, I told you it's gonna get dark, but I'm already committed, so I ain't stopping. Here goes. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Then reverse. Loved it. So now, remember I told you about that, where is it, that snap ring? Now that I know everything is set how it should be, we're gonna go and grab that and then put it on. We got the silver on here, but I'm gonna put all the console stuff back together, and then the next view is gonna be me putting on that shift knob that I got. So just stay tuned. Yo, it's a new day. Last night, we had a little bit of a snag, okay? At the final hour, right when it was about to get dark, right when I had just enough light to make it happen, we ran into a little roadblock because I misplaced something that I couldn't find for like 30 minutes. So it got too dark. I didn't finish it. And so I am now showing you what I did. So, sometimes you just gotta roll with the punch. This YouTube thing is not for the faint of heart, okay? Especially if you're trying to record something and make it make sense and be entertaining. I mean, yo. So I'm gonna show you. Oh snap! I forgot I had my seat on the gangster lean. I'll move my seat back in a second. We're closing this out. You saw the whole entire installation. I'm gonna show you the finished product, and I'll explain. There it is. And all its glory and all of its cosmic blue with teal specks and space cloud mist somewhere in there. All of its glory. Now, I know I did not show you me putting all of this stuff back together at the very end, but like I said, we had ran out of time, okay? Time was of the essence. We ran out, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna put it on and we'll talk about it tomorrow. This is how it looks. You see the shifts. You see how direct and stiff they are. You see how just to the point they feel. The reverse lockout. I mean, everything is just right on point. A little bit of grease in there, but we're all good. That is how it looks. I'm gonna do a test drive. I'm not doing it in this video. I'll do it in another one. Listen, content over everything. COE. So I'm gonna go ahead, close y'all out. Thanks again. If this is your first time seeing a video of mine, I got plenty. I got more to come. I got more parts coming. I'm here for the long haul. So like and subscribe. Join in. The test drive is coming after this.